business, in our business, we says, hey, you are one strategy and one network away, connection away to become really successful.
Life can change with a breath of air.
Wow.
You can exhale your past and inhale a new thought.
Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge Seeker Podcast. I'm your host, Farhan Mirza. So what if I told you you have 6 hours to live? What would you do? Would you panic? Would you believe it? Or would you call your loved ones or make peace with God? So my today's guest, Annie, lived through all that. And now not only she survived, she's here to tell her story and journey. Annie, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How you been?
I've been doing really well. I'm currently carving bone for a museum exhibition that's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. So take us back all the way when all this started with your health. Then the doctor has to come and told you, hey, listen, you have 6 hours to live. First of all, did you believe it?
No. So to take you all the way back to the very beginning, I started noticing color differentiations occurring in my legs, and I was having a really hard time breathing. And so I went to my medical doctor, and they pulled my D-dimer, which is what only emergency rooms can pull because it's a risk of blood clots. And if there is a risk of blood clots, you're supposed to have to be able to execute it, to have a plan to treat the blood clots, like a treatment plan. But it was my medical practitioner that pulled the D-dimer. And I got a phone call when I was outside in the garden, working out in the garden, that I had blood clots and I had to go straight to the ER. And so I went to the ER, and I knew how people were, or how the insurance and health companies were making money off of people that had COVID at the time. So I knew I had to go through extensive background with the insurance company to approve the CT scan, or we would get billed for even a CT scan. So I wasn't even thinking about having blood clots. And then I was put into a bed, and I was injected with the dye that makes you feel like you're on fire. And I went through the CT scan, and that's kind of when everybody took everything really serious. Then it kind of went into fast motion. They put IV catheters into both of my arms, like I was physically crucifixed. And they told me to find my peace. And all of this had occurred from experiencing a pulmonary embolism. And after the CT scan, they confirmed that I had a pulmonary embolism, internal bleeding, and lung death. And now it has turned into permanent lung death. But to even backtrack a little further to explain what occurred when the pulmonary embolism happened, if you don't mind me doing
Yeah, please. That was I was going to ask you.
So I took a breath of air, and that's what changed my life. Just a breath of air. And I inhaled in, and I went to cough, and I could only exhale half of the cough. And at that period of time, if you were to imagine a balloon blown all the way up, I survived by a pinched neck of the balloon and slowly letting air out. And my world didn't freeze. I didn't see a big bright light. I didn't see anything. I started thinking very logically. I started thinking, if I panic, my heart rate is going to increase, and I won't be able to, I'll try to breathe even faster, out of panic. So I knew to stay calm. And I was slowly able to breathe in and out, going from a stretched neck of a balloon to imagining a straw being put into the balloon and slowly breathing like I was sipping air. And I was doing that for about 3 minutes. And then I was able to take a full breath of air. And why I went to the doctor, the medical doctor to begin with, was because of back pain. Like, I was in complete denial that I had had a pulmonary embolism, and I'm doctor avoidant as well. So I waited a total of 3 days before going to seek medical help, and it took 2 days for the lab results to come back that I, in fact, was close to death. You're legally dead at 3.45 on a D-dimer. And 5 days after the pulmonary embolism happened, my clots were at 3.05.
So the people who don't know what a D-dimer is, did they explain you?
I was told again, this is in 2022, and my medical doctor looked at me in the face and she said, "We are finding out that COVID is causing blood clots. And what it sounds like in your lungs are blood clots. It sounds like you had a pulmonary embolism. I'm going to pull your D-dimer to measure the amount of blood clots in your body, because I know you're doctor avoidant. And if you don't go to the hospital, you will likely die." And I still was like, "Can't tell me nothing. You're wrong." But she was very right, and she saved my life.
So this is happening while you were at home, right?
Yes, the pulmonary embolism happened at home in my bedroom.
In your bedroom.
In the middle of the night.
So do you think it was during the pandemic?
It was in Nashville. We were still in, I don't remember what phase, to be honest with you. It's been a blur. This is after the world had shut down and we were opening up again. So I had the first 2 vaccines, and now I'm a medical case study for adverse side effects from the vaccine because I have kidney disease and should not have gotten the vaccinations. So I was fighting, my immunity was building from the vaccines, and then I caught the live virus at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And
That'd make it worse.
What almost killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when doctor come to you, "Hey, listen, you have only 6 hours." First of all, I mean, I know doctors are not God. They just, give you opinion according to their knowledge and that the lab works or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just trying to figure. Somebody's telling me, "Hey, you have 6 hours to live." Right. First of all, I would say, "What?"
Right. So to backtrack, after the CT scan, and when I mentioned everything, I'd kind of just literally, it was like you hit fast forward and everything just turned into a blur, except for the ER. Now I'm at the ER medical doctor, not my initial practitioner that told me it sounded like I had blood clots. I'm at the ER medical doctor who's looking at me saying, "We're going to hook you up to a heparin drip, and you may have 6 hours to live, and you need to find peace. We don't know how you are alive right now and how you're breathing without a ventilator, because your lungs are filled with clots, and you have internal bleeding right now, and you have lung death." And while he's saying this to me, he's also blinking very slowly. So he is processing his own shock results of seeing someone that hasn't, that's beat COVID at this point of time. But he was like, "You need to stay very calm. You need to just find peace, find what makes you happy, and stay there. Because if this 6-hour heparin drip does not work, then we do have to go to more invasive routes where I would be intubated and they would go into my lungs and try to get all the clots out." And that really was like life or death. Like, that was, there's no 6 hours left. Like, that was an incredibly invasive thing to do. And I was essentially told to kiss my ass, or,
Mm-hmm.
kiss the world goodbye, type thing. So while I was in the hospital room, I did that. I literally thought about things that made me happy, and I thought about things that had brought my life full circle. When I was 23, I read a book called A Year to Live, and it was written by Stephen Levine, who's a practicing Buddhist monk. And he talks about cherishing every day. And I was, it was more of allowing my life to come full circle, because if I did have 6 hours to live, I was meant to cherish, the good that I have done in the world. Because working in my background is in construction, all I could think about was the deconstruction and the gentrification that I was contributing to around the United States on a big scale.
That's what I was going to ask you when, the doctor come and he said, hey, listen, you have 6 hours to live and make a peace with God or call your loved ones kind of thing. What was going through in your mind that, okay, if I live, that's the one thing I'm going to do, or that's the one thing I don't want to do if I live?
Yeah. That I would never go back into a world where I had to mask. I wanted to authentically live no matter what. And I did allow a piece of myself to die in that hospital.
Wow.
I don't even know how many days I was physically in the hospital, because I was committed, or admitted, not committed. I was admitted for several days, and maybe 5, and then I got out. But I called my girlfriends, and I would say, here's the truth. I'm really sick. I didn't post it on social media. I think I deleted my social media, and I just called my close friends and I said, please tell me the kind things that I did. Please tell me the funny things that we did, so you don't have to speak them at my funeral.
Oh,
so
wow.
You can tell me to my face, what are things that we did that you remember from us growing up? And I called multiple friends, because I have a lot of friends. So I called multiple friends and I said, how did I impact you? Like, did I ever do anything that's good? Because all I can think about now are the 2 months that I got to spend as teaching. After I had left construction, I was teaching at my kids' school for 2 months, which is where I caught COVID. And all I could think about were the eyes that I was staring into, were the children that were homeless due to big contractors coming in and renovating their apartments to where they couldn't afford to live there anymore. So I was staring into, again, the 360 of my life hit me, and it hit me, hard enough for me to absolutely take time from it, to take the time to recognize how much impact I've had on this world. Because in construction, yes, I was a bulldog and very aggressive and getting awarded contracts, and I would have never seen the faces of the people associated with their rent going up and experiencing homelessness, especially in large cities after the pandemic. And Nashville was also hit by the tornado as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the tornado even eliminated a lot of people to have housing, and they were homeless. But I was happiest and at peace because I got to experience 2 months of teaching, and I loved it. I got to experience 2 months of being with my kids more than I ever have in their entire life, because I was with them when we would go to school together, we would leave school together, and that is the aspect of me that lived and persevered out of the hospital. But the corporate aspect of myself that traveled around the United States while I was nursing my kids, scheduling flights around when I would have to pump, all of that died and will never come back. My life now, even the business that I have, Mouthy Oddities and carving animal bone and pet memorial and taxidermy, all of that allocates me to work, 90 hours a week when they're gone, and with their father, 7 days on and 7 days off with the divorce. But the 7 days on that I have them, my presence is with them.
So that's what I was going to ask you. After near-death experience, how you see life now?
I never take time for granted, and I'm very intentional with my time as well. And I can't surround myself with people that don't have that similar ideology. The people that find hate or take time out of their day to find hate, or the people that have stayed into in my opinion, the American mentality of like pointing the finger at everybody else except themselves. I can't be around that.
Negative people.
Negative people, yeah. And I am the first to have a boundary with that too. I do not mind vocalizing, like to back up, and especially around my kids, like, no thank you. Like, time is precious. And that includes conversations as well.
I think that's what this is, that you are the average of 5 people that you hang out with. I usually say you are the average of 5 people that influence you. I mean, you can be with 5 people who are okay, but how many people you getting influenced to? That's the main thing, I think. So let's talk about now you are here, thankfully sitting and great, and now you actually are entrepreneur now. So let's talk about your business now. You started a business which basically, I love that when you said that life is beautiful even after death. I think you should trademark that.
I know, I need to.
And put a t-shirt.
I know.
I think that's very beautiful.
Yeah.
So now you taking bone from that animal and make it an art. So please tell
Sure.
more about that.
So I'm focusing on an ancient and old lapidary art form of bone carving. And bone carving itself is a dying art form. And so is taxidermy. So I'm focusing, like my life literally is all focusing on death and making it beautiful. So I also like to work with quote unquote waste. So I'm a sustainable and a recycling artist. I will take waste of copper that's stripped and copper that's used like in wires. I will strip it and then put it into a chemical component and turn it into usable lapidary grade copper. So I literally am recycling and using waste and turning it into fine art. So I'm a contracted artist now with the Heart Gallery, and they have a national book of business, and I'm working, several pieces have been commissioned by the Museum and Cultural Center in Cleveland, Tennessee, for a bone carving exhibition that's going on there. So aside from being a contracted artist and doing the museum exhibitions, I like to carve antler and other bones, including buffalo, into things that I've not seen before. So I'll use secondary materials with the bone, like I was telling you earlier, snakeskin. I will find shed snakeskin, which do contain bacteria, so I have to properly prep those so they can be laid onto bone. You know, just it's another way to engage my own creativity of having like a quote-unquote diagnosis that's considered a disability of ADHD, whatever you want to call it. It's called I can't sit in a classroom and sit still for 8 hours because I can learn really quickly and then move on, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm able to carve in any realm I want, and I'm also self-taught. So I'm a self-taught bone carver, and I changed the style of how I carve based on literally the day. And no pieces are the same. And I did complete lapidary school after winning Arts Build Periscope program. I won second place with them. And the month after that, I went to lapidary school. So it's been an incredibly busy year.
So my question is, why dead animal bones carving or taxidermy?
Okay, that's a good question. Fair. That's a fair question. So my degree is in animal science.
Okay.
And I used to be a vet tech.
Ah.
Yeah. So you have to, like, in my brain, in college, my father wanted me to be a doctor. So I was like, well, okay, I'll become a veterinarian because I love animals. And I took a morals and ethics course in university, and it changed my whole perspective, in addition to traveling to the Philippines and spending a month there and seeing that they don't even know what veterinarians are, and that animals there are used for protection. Like on the streets, they are kept there for protection because they have to have it.
Yeah.
So being exposed to different aspects of how animals were treated impacted my life, and I just could not take the emotion out of the job, which is actually means I'm healthy, right? So it does mean I'm a really good person, because a lot of people take the emotion out. And not just veterinarians, but physicians too. They have to remove the emotion.
Yes.
And I can't do that. So I love people and I love animals too much. But I will use Dermastead, going back to my business, I will use Dermastead beetles, which clean the bones, and they leave them to museum and biology department quality. So universities and museums use Dermastead beetles to preserve the remains, down to cleaning like the fine, minute pieces that you can't get with using tools. So yeah, when I lived in Nashville prior to moving to Chattanooga, I had skulls in my house, of skulls that I found like outside in the
Animal
woods.
skulls.
Skulls, yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Animal skulls. If you have to be.
Yes. So I would freak out if I saw any human stuff. Like that grosses me out all the way. Like,
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I can't watch my kids get shots. I still can't clip their fingernails. Like anything to harm a human, I just step away from that very quickly. But
yeah, because we have to make sure that this is.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways.
So animal skulls. So we had to really study each domesticated species to get our degree. So I had every domesticated species that I studied. I wanted one of their skulls and would have it mounted on the wall with like plants and more of the macabre vibe. If you can't tell with my vampire nails, like. Yeah.
You call that a vampire nails?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have them is to keep certain people away from me and then the cool people closer to me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I actually like your ring that you have a stone on there.
So I made this.
You made that, okay.
Yeah, I made it in a lapidary skull. I did have a divorce ring that I made, which was a large, bold, bright red coffin that was on this finger, and it was on an adjustable band, but I sold that before I could wear it, or I would have it on today as well.
So where you find all these bones, and because I know you're not a hunter.
No.
Yeah. So where you find all these bones, like antlers or buffalo, you're talking about all the bones?
Yes. So I have partnered with Greg Vidal and go to his buffalo farm. And after an animal naturally passes away, I go and forage for the bone. So
it's like a farm?
He does, yes.
He has a farm.
He has 3 buffalo bison farms, and they are fascinating. So I've never worked with wildlife, right? So I'd never really worked with buffalo or bison, and I did not know that they are closer to deer. The way that they move.
Their family tree?
Yeah, well, not their family tree, but their animal behavior.
Oh, okay.
Is like deer-like.
I'm just...
So in college, I have to tell you this. So in college, when I was prepping for vet school and going to have a standout application, I did do an internship with a primate sanctuary, and I was attacked by 2 monkeys as soon as I stepped on property. So I will watch wildlife from far away. And I did some scientific research with the university too for behavioral studies with Angus cattle. So I really like to observe the behavior of wildlife, and watching the buffalo up close is absolutely fascinating. And his buffalo farm is open to the public, so people can come and take tours of it. And I literally called him one day and I was like, hey, Mr. Vital, can I like bring my kids to tour the buffalo? And he's like, yeah, like bring them up. So I did. And I've been able to work with his buffalo bone. I also am working with a couple pieces donated by Mayor Tim Kelly. They will also be in the museum. So there will be buffalo, Mayor Tim Kelly's skulls that he has. I'm carving the antlers on those. And I will find my own bone when I go into onto private lands and just search for it. And you can look for antler racks starting in September because that's when the rut occurs.
Okay.
So I go and...
They shed their antlers, I think. Yeah.
Naturally. Yes.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah. And there's one antler rack that I got, and this was fascinating. It was so freshly, had fallen off that when I carved it, the capillaries still had blood in it, and I was able to seal that. I was able to seal it. So the antler is carved and with these different depths and formations, and you can see the encapsulated color. It's maroon. I mean, it's stunning. It's actually it's gorgeous.
So journey basically from your own health scare, and then you started to doing basically dead animals, making them alive in an art form. That's pretty unique.
Yeah.
And the people who are, let's say, right now thinking about life, that life is so hard, so this, so that. I think, and then listen to you. And I mean, if somebody told me I have 6 hours, that's all, I would say, okay, man, peace out.
Yeah.
I mean, you are emotionally and mentally, I mean, even though you were physically not that strong, but you were mentally that strong that you said, kiss my butt.
Yes. 100%.
The doctor or the life or whatever.
Yeah.
But you said, no, I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
Not only I'm not going to die, I'm going to become an artist.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So the people who are basically right now in a winter season of their life, what would you advise them, or what kind of basically a true advice you can give to them so they can get basically their life together?
So I can relate with a personal suggestion. Something that helped me when I was very sick and unable to do a lot was to create a physical goal list. Because every goal that you achieve, even if it is getting up and you strike that goal out, that's releasing an endorphin. Even if it's getting up to brush my teeth and striking that goal out, it's releasing an endorphin. So having achievable goals is actually a good thing. And I started, one of my goals with my business was, my dad was a woodworker, right? And he was pretty talented with it. And my goal was, I want to see if I can do that, but be better than him. So that's literally why I got into carving bone. I was like, I could work with wood, but no, I'll work with a different medium.
Yeah.
That's even harder to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and also to find ways to re-engage your brain, right? So the brain is meant to constantly learn and grow. So new sights, new smells, new information is actually healthy for the brain. If your brain is experiencing panic, smelling peppermint will break that thought process to making you in the present. Walking backwards in bilateral movements may sound silly, but that's another way to reprogram the neuroplasticity of your brain. So your brain is meant to constantly grow. And if you are in a stagnant or a quote unquote winter phase or a physiological depression, there are ways to work yourself out of it. And it's, nutrition is the biggest thing. What are you eating? That's medicine on its own. What are you not eating, and incorporating different nutrition into your body so your brain can have the proper energy to be able to write down goals, realistic goals, and movement. So I am stroke flagged now. For the rest of my life, I'm stroke flagged, and I can't be on Adderall or any of the other ADHD meds, which is totally fine with me because I've never liked them. But I have to still move. I have to literally move every 2 hours, or I'm at risk of throwing a clot. I'm at risk of developing a clot.
Oh.
Yeah. So I hold iron in my blood cells. I hold heavy iron. I mean, I had my genetics done and all of that. Like I have athlete's heart, athlete's lung. I have left atrial enlargement for my heart. Literally, I'm an athlete, so I have to keep moving. But that's also healthy for everyone to do.
I think you're a walking miracle, Annie.
That's what I've been called. But I'm over here just thinking of fun things to do. Like, well, I'm going to start carving with my left hand now because my left hand, my reflexes used to be extremely slow, right? And my neurologist, I went through a battery of medical testing, and my neurologist looked at me and said, it looks like you have had a stroke, but due to the existing medical information, like in your CT scan, like you don't have one. But now that there's been more research out, it does show that people that have specifically survived a pulmonary embolism from COVID likely did have microclots make it to their brain, where it's not just brain fog, it was brain damage.
Wow. I think people basically so much worried about little things in their life that, I don't want to lose this, I don't want to lose that. There's a famous quote from Stoic, Marcus Aurelius. He said, I don't understand why people are so afraid of losing when there's nothing belongs to them in this world. And that's the thing, is that nothing belongs to you in this world, because you came, there was nothing, and you're going to go. You're not going to bring anything with you or take anything with you. You're going to go by yourself. And I think this is a mindset. Okay, I wanna have this, I want to have that, I want to have this. And that's also like comparison. I think a lot of people do comparison, and that's what make them basically depressed.
Yeah.
Anxiety. And of course, with social media, I mean, of course, you can use social media in your favor, or you can scroll all day and look other people's fake life and see, okay, everything is hunky-dory for them, but for me, why me, poor me, this and that.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about before this, that about the labeling thing that you said, ADHD, and everybody is very fast to label somebody else as, oh, you're a bipolar, or you're ADHD, or you OCD, or you this and that. I mean, for me, if, I can have all the English alphabets on me. I have OCD, I have ADHD, and I can think about this all day, and what's going to happen to me?
Right.
I'm going to be like down, like... but for you, I think this is a mindset. You have a very strong mindset, and that's why you're sitting here talking to me. Otherwise, people needs to train their brain, because brain is same like a muscle.
Yes.
Like you work out, you have a bicep and this and that. This is how you're going to work out. You need to work out, because the function for a brain is to make you safe. Doesn't matter. Even though if you say, I want to go out and have a coffee with a friend, the brain is going to, no, you don't need to go out. What if there's an accident? What if you slip? Or what, it's too hot or it's too cold? I think that's just a mindset. And that's why I want you to explain my audience that how you build that mindset that you have right now.
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's a saying, like, some people believe, well, what if something goes wrong? I believe, what if it goes right?
Yeah.
What if it goes right?
Positivity, yeah.
What if you go and you put yourself out there and you experience the world you're supposed to experience, and it will go right? That there's really no wrong that you can experience. It's all an aspect of learning, and it's an aspect of learning what you enjoy and what you may not enjoy. right? So again, the brain will keep us safe and the brain will wire us to, and it goes back to childhood, to what is safe and the physiological development of the brain. But as an adult, you can break those habits. And when you break those habits, the neuroplasticity changes. So the brain learns, like going out to have coffee really isn't
bad thing.
Bad.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened. And so every time like I doubt, if I experience doubt, especially with launching my business, like I did 6 months of beta testing before I actually launched with an LLC. And I never once I was exhausted, but I didn't have doubt because I knew what I was doing was fun. My kids thought it was fun. My children were learning that business doesn't have to be scary, that you can have fun. My kids call the events that I go to parades, or my daughter does because she's young, parades, and we get to go out of town, but it's all fun. Do I engage in things that I don't think are fun? Not really. I really don't, because I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah, I think it's all about, again, it's the same, mindset. You can make any boring thing a fun thing if you want to. I mean, nobody wants to, same thing, the routine thing that we all have, and it gets really boring.
Right.
But here's the thing, that any good things you do is kind of boring.
Yeah. Yeah, and some people feel safer.
Yeah.
With a routine, with the 9 to 5, But now with more advanced technologies coming in, some of those people are losing their jobs, right?
Yeah.
So they're having an identity crisis with, what do I do? Because all I know is my 9 to 5 and the limitations from my 9 to 5, and my routine is broken. Who am I? And I've experienced that world too, right? Like when I got as high as I could go in business development and construction, and then found out how terrible it was, like I had to find my identity. So it's like allowing your aspects or sense of self to shed. I learned I didn't like to be at the top of a corporate ladder, and I was like, man, bye, like goodbye.
Yeah.
That's all done.
No, that's very well said. You just said that, hey, this is identity crisis, because most people, their job is their identity.
Right.
Because what do you do? I am an accountant.
Yes.
Or I am this, or I'm that. That's become their identity.
Yes. Yeah.
And once they lose that, like you just said, they don't know what to do now because their identity is gone.
Yep. And so are the finances, right? So that's the aspect too of working for a corporation is, they'll pay, they'll pay you 6 figures, and they'll pay you that to keep you there no matter how terrible that environment is. So because you're living the lifestyle of making 6 figures, you've bought a home with your 6-figure salary, or dual if you're working in a home like myself and my ex-husband, where we were both making a certain amount of money. You buy a house with that expectation of, making that existing income, but God forbid someone dislikes it, right? And I experienced burnout in corporate America before it was called burnout.
Yeah.
Like I've always kind of been like marching at my own beat and walking in my own path. And I'm glad I stepped away when I did and got a brief stint in teaching prior to opening my business. And again, I worked with children in Nashville worked as a substitute at my kids' school in Nashville, and then moved to Chattanooga and worked at a therapy program for a year and a half. And that exuded, again, am I having fun? And when the answer became no, I was all done. I was mentally all done.
So do you think that in your work now, with your, they label you ADHD or kind of thing, but I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, so I wouldn't say that. I don't want to be too much controversial. I mean, sometimes it's good to have a controversial kind of
Yes. Yes.
but I actually really don't believe that people just labeling these
Same.
things to
Yeah.
people who might be normal and then
Right.
and then they said, no, I think you have that, have A B C D E F G H whatever,
Yes.
and they start feeling that because again, that's the
Right.
mindset.
Right.
I think it's also has to do something with pharmaceutical companies too.
Yes. 100%.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. But it's true. I mean, it's true. And that was a part of my journey too. Like after having the pulmonary embolism and being considered stroke flagged, I was also flagged to be on blood thinners for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I had to fight that with hematology and prove that I didn't have estrogen related sensitivities or a clotting disorder. So I legally did not have to be mandated by insurance law to stay on blood thinners because they were making me extremely sick.
So with all this experience you've been through and all that, if you have to give somebody a one advice, what will be that? You can take your time, think about it.
I would say one, honestly, it's true, and I spoke about it at Creative Mornings, is your life can change with a breath of air.
Wow.
You can exhale your past and inhale a new thought. You can literally change your mindset with a breath of air.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So in our business, we says, hey, you are one strategy and one network away, connection away to become really successful. Mm-hmm. And I think in life, like you said, it's very nice that you are one breath away to become whatever you want to become. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your project that you're working on right now.
Yes. So this is my busy season. I have multiple festivals coming up in Chattanooga. I have a Buffalo Blessing with Greg Vidal. I have a museum exhibition that will start October 2nd, and I'm carving multiple skulls for that, and I'm liking the style of this particular skull that I'm doing. I'm taking my torch, my lapidary torch, and I'm torching the antlers so they're actually burnt. And I've never done this before. So again, I'm always carving in new ways. And then because I understand the biology of the antler, there's 2 layers of mineral and 2 layers of bone. Mm-hmm. So I can actually torch those mineral layers, but it'll still be white underneath. So then I carve and create a line texture that I like, and then I go in again and carve in depth. So it's when you walk into the museum, like you actually, like it's a way to train the eye, train the viewer to physically move from where they are to be center with the skull so they can see the actual carvings. And the skull itself is remaining white. It's just the racks, the antlers that are torched and carved. I have some an opossum mandible there, or the jaw, possum jaw, that's filled with copper rivets that I learned in lapidary school how to take copper from being copper colored to different colors. And I like making it bright pink, bright fuchsia, so it looks like bright fuchsia teeth. Mm-hmm. In place of where the opossum's teeth were, but it's all copper rivets. My work will be displayed at Hart Gallery. I make necklace pendants right now with, again, the bright copper fuchsia rivet, and different aspects of my carving include antler, but also utilizing a skull from a deer or another animal, and showing the fusion, showing the growth plates of where the I call them nature's puzzle piece, but where the skull actually still allocates movement. I find those pieces to be really beautiful.
So do you think there's any community in this area?
Oh yeah, I've developed it. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I've developed my own target niche market for my business. That's what I focused on when I was in construction, was developing business or developing markets. So there is outside of my business, there is a night market that occurs, and it's hosted by Ver Noir, and Becca owns Ver Noir, and she's a genius, and she also owns Bloom, or Jolie Jardin, which is a flower shop. So it's an opportunity for fans of the macabre to come out at night, and there's typically a theme, and everybody can dress up, and they can meet the artisans that have product placement in Ver Noir. And this occurs on Fraser Avenue once a month from April to December. So we'll also have a witch walk in November. I'm saying we. It's not my event. It's Becca's event. Becca's hosting the witch walk and Haunted Christmas, I think is what it's called. But it's really literally like there's a whole genre of people that I've taught personally with that are into taxidermy, that are into bones, that want, they've come over to my house to see the buffalo. I've taught children in homeschooling programs like what taxidermy is, and shown them the dermestid beetles, and shown them like the anatomy and physiology of even different teeth, like how different teeth work. That's the teacher in me. But there's quite it, but it's all about, again, getting out there, putting my name out there. Like none of that, what I've developed, none of that would have existed unless I didn't take that breath of air that almost killed me, right?
Yeah, before we wrap this thing up, but I want to go back to your mindset again, because I think that's very important. Because even in your artwork, it's all about mindset too, because you know that sometimes the thing is not going to work out the way you wanted. And you have to keep that mindset, I need to keep going. Do you do any kind of rituals, or do you do yoga?
No, I should. So I know, but you know what I do? So I have to move. I'm a little
meaning
busy.
Move your body. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I do, I'll do jumping, like lymphatic movements to release lymphatic drainage. I stretch. I don't do yoga. I like to move a lot. Okay. So walking, I go in the woods. I walk. I typically hike every day, and will have my dog with me, and they're minimally 4-mile hikes, not a walk, but an actual hiking up like boulders and stuff like that.
Do you have keeping this mindset, like being like that, do you have any kind of affirmations that you call, repeat yourself or something like, because the way the people talk themselves, it's unbelievable how negative the people talk. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm so this. And I used to say, do you really, if you write down all these words and repeat these things to your friend, would you do that? And they go, no, I wouldn't talk to my friend like. So why would you even talk to yourself like that?
Right.
Because your unconscious mind is basically listening to all that and creating those things.
Yes. So you can hear people's internal critic when they talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am like, I'm a powerhouse bitch. Like I can do literally anything. And if I fail along the way, it's called a learning lesson.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can recall being soaking wet in 100 pounds and not being able to taste or smell. And I still don't have the physical sensations that I used to have. My left hand, my reflexes were slow. Like I was having trouble, lacing my shoes. My toes would hurt, where just touching the ground was painful. I was losing my hair. I had to cut all of my hair off because it was falling out faster than I could put it up. So recalling the truth definitely, but also recalling where I am now.
Yeah.
Every step has allowed me to be where I am now. And do I know that from a biology and a physiological aspect that my body will die early? Yeah. I was injected with lethal amounts of dye where they said, we can't test you for anything else because you will develop cancer, right? But they only tell you that when they have the red flags to do so, right? Insurance law will mandate that. So I think that, I have kidney disease. I have lung death that is permanent, and it's much bigger than it initially was. And I'm prone to throwing clots. So why would I not live my best life, right? Like, why would I not adventure? Why would I not be willing to take a risk? I can't. I know what it's like to not.
Yeah, I mean, then, like I said, we keep going back to that same thing. Hey, this is all about your mindset. Because you did not say, okay, well, poor me, I have only 6 hours to live, and, I'm going to have developing this and that. I'm just going to go crawl in the corner and just, cry. He said, forget about that. I'm just going to become more stronger, and I'm going to make this art work and also become an entrepreneur. And I'm going to teach other people how to do these things too. And that's the reason I wanted to talk to you, because you are inspiration for other people. People can look at you and say, listen, yeah, life is hard for everybody. Everybody have issues. There's no other, I think, in any person in this world does not have problems. But every problem, everybody has different problems. And how you deal with them, that's the main thing. I mean, you have a problem, I have a problem. You're dealing with like a badass woman. And I think listeners who are listening to this, they need to listen to this, that, hey, listen, yeah, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And you need to train your mind, train your brain. Hey, listen, yeah, I need to do hard things. Life is already hard.
Right.
So you want your life when you are young, you want your life hard now or easy later, or easy now, hard later. It's going to be, something like that.
Yeah.
So
letting go.
Letting go, yeah. I think intentional mind, I think that's what basically for you is, you have everything is intentional.
Yes.
There's nothing like wing it or something like that. You have everything set up intentional. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Right.
And also, of course, you develop habits too, because, we talk about in I think one of my guests, that in order to people talk about, I'm not disciplined, I'm not this. Well, you need to create a habit to become a discipline, because discipline doesn't come like that. You need to create habit to be a discipline. If you want to work out in a gym, make sure you have your work clothes in the morning in front of you. All you have to do is just grab, wear, and go. Yep. That's a habit. Right. And that's what makes you disciplined. Well, Annie, thank you so much.
Yes.
And I know we tried this before, but we had some technical issues. But thankfully, we don't have any technical issues now. And I appreciate you. So before we go, I want you to tell people that where they can find you.
Sure. So my website is updated. www.oddandmouthy.com. My business is Mouthy Oddities because I am third generation construction and like unlimited generation on my mom's side of sailor. So I'm mouthy like a construction worker and a sailor all in one. And I create artwork out of bone.
So what's your Instagram handle?
At mouthy_oddities.
Do you have any other social media that you like to?
Nope.
So we can actually put everything on the screen for her so you can follow her. She's amazing, as you heard her story. And we, of course, going to talk to her maybe in a couple of weeks or so, and we're going to bring her back and we're going to talk more about her business. So again, thank you so much. And if you like this episode, please share, and I would say like, because I think her story is amazing. And we'll see you in next episode. Take care.
Yay!
All right.